The World Health Organization wants architects and planners to design buildings with good mental health in mind. And it's starting to happen with some of the new apartment blocks that are going up in cities, including London, Birmingham, Manchester and Leeds. Our reporter Samantha Fennick has been looking at some of the design features intended to make people feel better.
Yeah, so shall I break?
This is the norm now for many people who live in rented flats.
So I'm Strokes, your spots.
They rent a furnished apartment for about £1,000 a month, and they get use of communal lounges with pool tables, cinema rooms, gyms, and some apartment blocks even have rooftop terraces with five-a-side football pitches and social areas for barbecues. Jacob Smitch moved to Manchester from Melbourne, Australia about 18 months ago. He says he moved here specifically to make friends.
There's a range of different type of people. You've got young professionals, you've got some young families, you've got some older people, and they all sort of come down here, they mingle. There's usually a few people working from home down here as well, so you've got that sort of spirit. You've got 5 or 6 people that see each other every single day, and then you've got people that come down on the weekends and watch the football in the cinema room, or there's a few people that you see them always going to the pub or walking each other's dogs and that sort of thing. So it's a nice way that people of all ages can mix with everybody that lives here.
And when you moved here, did you know people in Manchester? Did you have a network of friends?
No, not really. So moved over, I knew my brother who I live with, and then that was pretty much it. And so from not knowing anybody a year ago to having a few people here that will watch sport together or play pool or just go for a walk and sit out in the sun on the grass and that sort of thing. So it's a good way to, if you don't know anybody, have that nice connection. Hey, join us for a trivia night, and away you go.
Jacob's building is called Quay, and it was designed by architect Ben Channon. We're outside Quay, which is your new development, which is on the Ship Canal in Salford in Manchester.
What we're really focused on here is trying to create a great sense of community, trying to create moments of joy, really, special moments as people come into the building. Particularly, we're just still outside the entrance, so we're just going to head inside now. And as you'll see here, we've got a big double height space with full height windows, this amazing lighting feature over reception which is full of bold colours, and what we hope it does is really creates this kind of special feeling as you enter the building.
And this, you think, helps people's mental health as they're arriving home or leaving for work?
Yeah, absolutely. We know that buildings and the environment now can have a big impact on people's mental health and well-being. And so spaces like this, where they do have lots of daylight, lots of natural materials, lots of tactility, we know that they can have a really big impact on how people feel when they arrive home.
2.4 million adults in the UK suffer from chronic loneliness, according to official government statistics. And people who rent feel more lonely than those who own their own homes. And this is something that architect Ben Channon tried to tackle when he designed this building.
I wrote a book called Happy by Design, which explored how buildings do affect our mental health. And there's so much evidence out there from the worlds of neuroscience, environmental psychology. But what I realised was that I wasn't being taught that as an architect. And so I wanted to bring some of those lessons and that research into the world of architecture. And I would say that, great design ultimately is good for our mental and physical health.
We've walked down some stairs into a communal lounge area. What's the basis behind this to help people's mental health and the way that you've designed it?
Well, one of the things we really wanted to promote in this space is that idea of community and really trying to combat loneliness. We know that loneliness is a really big negative factor when it comes to mental health. In a space like this, you can see we've got pool tables, we've got dining spaces, working spaces, and the idea really is that people can come and use this space however they want. So there's fold-away screens which allow people to adapt the space. All the furniture is movable. For me, I got into architecture because I really wanted to design buildings which, make people feel great. At the end of the day, to me, that's fundamentally how we can support people's mental health better. Is creating buildings that make people feel fantastic, and whether that's through enjoying some time in here with some close friends, or through having a big party and meeting with your neighbours. All of those things we know are going to make people feel better in their home.
We're in the kitchen dining room of Angel Gardens in Manchester. It's a space that we've designed for the residents of Angel Gardens to come together and cook and eat, and this is where we hope people will have a very good time.
On the other side of Manchester, there's a similar block of flats by developer Moda Living. It too has communal areas which have been designed by interior designer Naomi Cleaver. We're on the 7th floor of the building.
7th floor, lucky 7.
And you have designed the whole of this communal space, which is on the 7th floor.
Yeah.
And here we are in a lounge where there are sofas and chairs, a table, people can come with their laptops. There's a tea making facility over here. And all of this has been designed with healthy mental health in mind.
It has. So I don't know whether you noticed, but as you exit from the lift lobby, if we didn't have these sections of wall here, you would walk straight into an open plan space. In terms of evolutionary psychology, that can be very overwhelming, certainly for introverts. And I think all of us have a little bit of introvert and a bit of extrovert, and it just depends what the balance is. You want to walk into a space where you have a moment, a breath, where you can take the space in and make a decision about where you want to go and where you don't want to go. So that's why we've designed that very, very carefully. And then you want groups of seating and different kinds of seating. We have a fireplace here. In all the Moda buildings that I'm designing, we're making sure that we've got a fireplace in place. I think a fire just says home to me.
16% of 20 to 24-year-olds have suffered from anxiety, according to Anxiety UK. Jacob Smith, who lives in Clippers Quay, thinks the way the building has been designed has helped his mental health.
The way that it was set up to have that sort of community feel and not feel like you're away from everything when you come home.
Do you think it's helped your mental health?
Yeah, like because often if you're working long, hard hours and you come home and you get home, you cook some food and you sit on the sofa and that's your day in, day out, week on week on week. And so here at least it's like you've got plenty of opportunities to interact with other people, and that's always good for your mental health, right? You don't want to be sitting there by yourself in your flat. Come down here, sit down here, you don't have to talk to anybody, but at least you've got people around you, you've got a bit of something going on, which is very important, I believe.
Jacob Smith talking to our reporter Samantha Fennick as they played pool. You're listening to You and Yours, Radio 4's consumer programme. It's 21 minutes.